The fifth meeting of the Advisory Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. Will we please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could we have a roll call, please?
Roger Brock.
Here.
William Hutton.
Here.
Dennis Radowski. Nancy Reagan.
Here.
Kathleen Hill.
Here.
4 present. We have a quorum.
All right. We have the minutes for October 31st, 2023. Do we have a motion to accept?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Could we have a roll call vote?
Nancy Reagan.
Yes.
Roger Brock.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes.
4 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed.
Seeing no old business, is there any since the agenda was given to us, or no old business at all?
It's no old business.
Okay. Moving on to new business, we have Z-23-18, petition of Fountain of Youth Adult Daycare Center Company for a conditional use regarding Title 8, Section 8.11, to allow an adult daycare center in a C2 shopping center district located at 6529 Columbia Avenue, Suite 200, in the city of Hammond. Has all notification been presented?
Yes, they have.
Okay. We have petitioners here to present their information. You step forward and state your name and address, please.
Jasmika Collins, 54 West 153rd Place, South Holland, Illinois.
Okay. Like to tell us what you're planning on doing or are doing.
Our intention is to open an adult day center where we have seniors over the age of 55 and older who are able to come and socialize and kind of exercise, do arts and crafts, create friendships and relationships throughout the day.
Did you want to speak a little bit on the history of the building and how you plan to utilize it?
Oh, yes. So my understanding is that this was actually a staple in the community of it was an old grocery store, Berger's. And
Sturks, actually.
Sorry. Absolutely sorry. But I recognize it definitely is a staple in the city, and multiple people that I've spoke with about this were excited about the fact that that it was in that same building or in that same place, and they all have kind of fond memories of shopping there with their families. So in true spirit of tradition, we want to actually kind of have that as more of a community resource center for seniors, that, you know, that not just seniors but the community, place that we can all come for, like health fairs or community endeavors, different things like that as it relates to building the community in that area around and bringing people in and coming together.
Right. Anything else you'd like to tell us about it?
Is that we're just very excited to have the service here, and more so even because a lot of times with nursing care, seniors sometimes need care during the day, and their family members are not able to provide that care due to working or other obligations. And a lot of times they have to transfer all of their assets to other facilities in order to receive the care they need. So this is a great option to avoid seniors having to give their whole inheritances away to other facilities for care.
So did you want to go over maybe the hours of operation, and how many, starting out, how many people and stuff like
Yes.
that?
Thank you, yes. So we will be open Monday through Friday. Saturday maybe by appointment, but we'll try not to. But 8 to 5. And I'm sorry, tell me what else did you ask? I'm sorry.
Just,
Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
stuff like,
We do have transportation. This is a
Okay, yes.
Medicaid program, so we can accept traditional Medicaid for our seniors, and also the transportation is included with the Medicaid. For the self-pay participants, we have part-time or full-time schedules for them as well, and affordable weekly rates so that they can make payments as they go, opposed to a one big lump sum payment.
And it says in your cover letter, you're initially starting with 30
yeah.
participants, and you're hoping to, over time, increase it to 150?
Yes, we initially, for the first 90 days, we're definitely going to only have 30 people. And that's just so that we can create a system, we can get to know who we have, and it's almost, and then after that, we can increase gradually so that we don't lose quality as we increase. It'll just maintain the same exceptional care.
There is something in here about you do medical needs assessment and determine what your participants, whatever extra services that they may need, but you're not providing medical services on property.
So Birch Senior Homes, they actually do the assessments. It's called, they assess the level of care. So we actually don't do that in-house. That's a service that's provided through the state for our participants. We do have a care plan, but that's not a medical plan. That's just an assessment of their daily activities or favorite things like that. So why it's significant is because as everyone gets older, things start to decline. And if someone isn't living in a home with you, no one would be able to notice those subtle little things. But in your care plan, it would be there. Like, oh, well, maybe they didn't eat dinner today, or they didn't eat lunch, today, or they set off by themselves. That would be in the care plan, because that could be significant if we see a pattern. So the care plan is different from the medical assessment. The medical assessment just makes sure that you're receiving the proper level of care. We are a level 1 facility at this time. It does go up to, I think it's level 4, but for the first year, we're only going to do level 1.
Okay, and then what about your participants who have daily medicines? Are you going to help them with that, or what?
If they need help, but ultimately we're level 1, so they don't need help. They're all independent. They all can take care of themselves. They all have their own, physical, mental capability of handling things on their own. So if they need help, if they may need a reminder, sometimes we all need reminders, right? Then we'll say, hey, it may be time to take your medicine. Did you want to take your medicine? But as far as us being responsible for giving them the medicine, we prefer not to. However, if that is a need, it's not, a difficult thing to say, hey, you need your medicine, and remind them to take it. But we're not doing any we're not doing any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the idea is that then you would be able to, in this report, say, hey, I've noticed that they always forget to take their medicine, and maybe we need,
Absolutely.
okay.
Yes, that
And-
would definitely be in the care plan.
And earlier you mentioned Birch, is that the Silver Birch on Soul Avenue?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. I don't know why I only remembered the Birch part. Yes, they actually are Hammond's source for assessing the level of care that's needed for any of our seniors that receive Medicaid benefits, home community benefits.
And that's your intention, to be a resource and work with other resources like that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
And partnerships within the
Yes.
community, and strengthening those nonprofit organizations that have services that they offer as well. So that is definitely our intention, and actually something that we've already kind of started with, just making sure that we network with them and share resources, because that's important. Bring awareness to what we have to offer, as well as understanding what others have, so that we can be a greater resource.
And you have met with Director of Community Development, Dewana Miller, right?
Yes, a couple, yes. I met, yes. She came out, and I also met with her team on another occasion as well, yes.
Any questions from board members? You mentioned as far as you have 3 to 4 independent contractors. Is that as far as this Birch or whatever the place was to assess them, or what do you mean by the contract?
The contractors are our initial caregivers, and so they come from a different company. So I don't employ them directly. They're from like a staffing company or whatever, so they're employed through another agency initially.
Okay. Do you provide any food services, lunches, breakfast, and things like that, and where does that come from?
Yes, so we do provide a breakfast snack and a hot lunch, and then the afternoon snack, but that's not hot. And we actually are working with Ms. Miller to utilize a local caterer, but the food daily will be delivered, and the participants will serve themselves, as that is a part of the curriculum to recognize, are they able to take care of themselves or to stay in their homes? So that's another way that we assess their level of care. So we are going to have catering. We do no cooking in the facility at all. We don't hold any food or any perishable items at all in the facility. Everything will be delivered daily.
This service, is it just the Hammond area or all over Lake County, or for people to come to this?
They are welcome to come from other areas, but right now my focus is on Hammond, because in other areas, this is statistically speaking, there's usually 30% of day centers have a waiting list. So once people realize that this service is available, I don't want it to be consumed by people from other areas, and then it never serves the purpose of completing the mission of helping the people that in this community. So we want to first target Hammond and then reach out in about a year or so. It's plenty of people, seniors in Hammond, that need this, that I'm sure would need this service, but it's plenty of seniors in Hammond.
You mentioned your Medicare, Medicaid?
Traditional Medicaid.
Okay, and then you have others that are paying
Yes, ma'am.
customers. Do they sign up as far as for the Medicare? Is that like on a monthly basis where they're there each for a whole month and continue being with you, or what?
So they can stay weekly, or they can do weekly or monthly, whatever is comfortable for the participant and their family, because some people it's easier to do it monthly, their budget allows, and then some are weekly, and some may say, okay, I can only come this week and not next week, or 2 days this week and 2 days next week. So we try to remain flexible in how those particular payments are made.
And would there be an average price for weekly, and what would that, could you tell us what that might run for someone?
Absolutely. So the government pays an average. It's going to change in January. It always goes up every year, but generally the base pay is about $1,600 a month per participant, and we're not charging anyone over that. So we'll break it down weekly. It's like $350 a week, $375 a week, but we're not going to charge anyone. And if I can make it cheaper and find grants, then that's the objective, is to find monies that we can offer it to people who need it as well for lower rates.
And then how many employees would you be starting out with for these 30 people?
Right. So the state requirement is that you have to have eight people to one caregiver. So that's where the 3 to 4 independent contractors come in, because we said 30, so we'll have 4. Just, to make it a little bit over.
And you did say when you moved to hiring employees on a payroll, you did mention that, obviously they're going to have background checks, no felons, nobody with any pending criminal charges. And that goes for your clients as well.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, and that's also a state requirement that everyone has to have a background check and TB test.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
So
And you also, when you're looking at employees, although you're not going to offer medical care, you did say you wanted to try to look for people who do have medical experience so that they can better understand their needs and all that, and talk with them about it and all that, right?
Absolutely. We're gonna have once we begin, I think it's after the first 60 days, it's in the budget, we will have on staff a nurse, at least an LPN, just to have on staff as a resource if we need it, and just implement best practices even more. So it is definitely our intention to do our payroll in-house and our hiring in-house and locally, and to also hire a local nurse. Every 30 people, we want to have another nurse. So every 30 people, we want to have a full-time LPN or better.
And that would be a contract person?
No, that would be a direct employee.
Okay.
Yes. But it's, after the first 60 days, just getting rolling, and then yes, we definitely, it's in the budget too.
Ones that are not under government funding or that, can people just come by and say, hey, I'd like to stay the day here? Or do they have to sign up? Do they have to contact you? Or so you have a count on your numbers each day?
That's a great question. So what my intention is, and that's where partnerships come in, is because my understanding is that Hammond has a senior center at the Pulaski Park for certain days of the week. And so I would want people that we can't take in because of our numbers or because they can't maybe afford the rate, we don't want to turn anyone away. So what we would do is try to recommend them to go to that place, and then maybe try to offer some transportation or something like that at an affordable rate, unless we are able to, and this is like after the first 6 months or so, things change and we have a bigger budget, but unless we're able to get grant money to supplement those costs and not have to turn anyone away. But that's the plan for that, is if someone wants to come in during the day, then ultimately, if they're not able to afford the service, then we're going to try to refer them to a service or refer them to other services within the community, like the library or, like I said, the senior center at the park. So then they still can get out and enjoy the community as well.
All right, you also, let me think for a second. Mentioned as far as things you will be doing in regard to, we mentioned as far as state, you have to be state licensed to operate this?
Yes, you have
And they come in and inspect the facility and that?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have already received the inspection and an okay from them?
Yes, ma'am.
One thing you mentioned in your flyer is like a cookout. And I would assume that's for partially socialization, things like that.
Yes.
Looking at that land that you will be utilizing, there doesn't seem to be much of an outdoor facility. You have plans for anything for it?
Yes, so there's a rule, an open settings rule that they have, a law, that they want seniors to be more connected to the community and the places around them. So when we say cookouts, we mean at the park.
Okay.
We'll
Not
provide
around
transportation.
the facility, yes. So it would be an outing. It would be more of a local field trip, and we would go to a local park and just enjoy our day there.
Okay. So you're not planning on any time expanding to try to create an outdoor facility so they can get air during the day or anything like that? It would just be like a field trip.
So I had not thought of that, but actually I can do that with this space. The landlord is very open. Okay. So I will put that on paper and see how I can make that work.
Yeah, because a lot of the elderly, they don't get out of their homes or anything like that to get the air that they need or that.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate that. Thank you. I would definitely make a note of that.
Any other questions? Two women are the only ones that feel elderly and they ask the questions, or what?
You went there.
You had the best
I went
questions.
there. Are you presently open?
No, we're actually getting through zoning.
Okay. All right, because I noticed that, you had the flyer and
Yeah, well, we are starting our marketing, so hopefully we can be, as soon as possible, we can start enrolling and getting open. So yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I went by and I noticed there was a sign on the window and things like that also.
So she's actually following the procedures properly by getting permission from this board first before opening.
I had.
I think given other, that is worthy of noting, yes. She has. And I've been inside there, and I will say, yes, she is setting up, but there is no, it's not open to the public.
No.
With this information we've also received, and this would be for the staff, if basically, if this is all approved, would the zoning book be updated as far as putting daycare and
No,
child daycare and adult daycare?
no.
Okay.
There's no reason to do that because of the language, how we got to this point. It's similar to a child care center, which was already conditional use, so there's no reason to update the language. We have a mechanism to handle it as we are proceeding tonight.
Okay. So where does it go as far as the zoning book, as far as if the conditional use of granted adult daycare center is allowable in a C1, so that would have to go in the zoning book, correct, or no?
What are you referring to?
I'm referring to our proposed findings of fact, 7C.
So what it comes down to, and this is a standard thing that we find in our zoning ordinance, is that if there are things that are allowed as permitted uses or conditional uses in a lower district, under basic circumstances, they do translate up to the higher districts. And so all this is a reference is trying to explain how that correlation is being made.
Okay, so it would not appear that it would become, as far as a use in that district, correct? You've got it taken care of by this.
Yes. so,
Okay, in the way you ask the question, it is
Okay.
technically problematic because it is a use in this district that needs the board's approval because of the transference of certain uses from one district to another. And so it will not be, there's no reason to amend the zoning ordinance to include it because it's commonly done. We've had many cases like this where we've done things by translation or transference from one district to another based on the stated mechanism that the ordinance language does have. For all practical purposes, your action allows this in that district because assuming you grant a conditional use permit, it is therefore allowed, or by means of the conditional use.
So future staff members would already be aware that it's been approved. No, I'm not going there. All right, anything else from the board? Okay, we will open up for public
You
discussion.
can sit down.
You want to sit down? Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak for or against D-23-18? Anyone like to speak? We will close this part of public comments at this time. Any other questions from board members?
I have a couple of questions, Mr. Novak or Mr. Poland, if you can answer these. Suite 100 and Suite 300, are they currently occupied?
No,
Is there a separation partition between these suites?
I believe so, Tom, is that correct?
Thank you.
There are a series of doors, but I will say in the rear, there is a common bathroom area. So, they will be mixing in the common area when they have to utilize the bathroom in the rear. But, and that is one of our conditions is that, to keep any and all doors between the units locked. And when fire department goes out to doing a business license inspection, assuming you guys approve it, I will make sure that they follow up on that aspect of things.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You had two questions? You said a couple.
That was two.
Oh, okay. One and two.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right. Would the staff present the recommendations and any amendments to the staff report? Mr. Novak, are you doing it, or Mr. Poland?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, so I will read into the record the staff recommendation, and we will submit the staff report into the record as submitted. Staff has reviewed the petitioner's request and recommends that the BZA grant the conditional use permit should the board feel the petitioner has met the standards, subject to conditions: 1, enact measures to keep rooms not in use and neighboring units, suites closed off and secured from access by clients or visitors. 2, maintain fire alarm system and obey max occupancy for each room and suite as a whole. And 3, safely and legally split up utility meters and circuit breaker panels so meters and panels correspond to a specific individual unit or suite.
I also want to point out for the board, if you look at the bottom of the first page of the staff report,
Oh, yes.
you will see all of the references to a previous BZA action on this property, initially in 2007 and then subsequently in 2010, in which the Learning and Development Center for BP was approved by this board, and that the 2010 case actually, or the 2007 case had a specific time period on it, and the 2010 case extended that time period to for in perpetuity in essence. And so if you recall from previous cases where we talked about the zoning ordinance provision that says that if you have a second conditional use approved by this board, that the first one automatically expires. And then in our previous situations in which we wanted both to continue, we had you make a motion to basically counteract the automatic removal. In this case, staff is not asking for you to counteract the automatic removal. We want this BZA case to automatically remove the previous Learning and Development Center from BP conditional use.
Any other parcel? Like
Right.
1 and 2, this one's in the middle, so you have 2 other sections of the building. So the whole building is automatically removed.
The action is not specific to the area of the building. The action is specific to the use. And once you approve a new conditional use, it automatically cancels out the first one.
And this conditional use is only for that section of the building? Yes or no? Or is the whole building could be?
No, because it has been specified that this is Suite 200.
Okay. All right, we have some findings of fact. Any changes from any members, any additions that they would like to make? Mr. Hardin, do you have any comments or anything? I see you taking some, no.
No comments. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adopt the staff report and the conditions, recommendations 1 through 3, and the proposed findings of fact as the official findings of fact to the record to adopt it?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Nancy Reagan,
Yes.
Roger Brock.
Yes.
William Hutton,
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes?
4 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
Do we have a motion in regard to the conditional use for Z-23-18?
I'll make that motion.
You're making a motion to approve that?
I make a motion, we approve Z-23-18
As well as the recommendations from the staff?
and the recommendations from the staff
Okay.
report.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote?
Nancy Reagan,
Yes.
Roger Brock.
Yes.
William Hutton,
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes?
4 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
Good luck.
Thank you all. Thank you.
All right, any commissioners' comments? Just to have a lovely holiday season?
Work.
You working on it? I'm not yet. Got past projects done though. All right, staff comments?
In your packet, you have the 2024 meeting schedule. You will note that in May, there is an optional dates that we are asking for the board's preference as to whether, basically, the day after Memorial Day, do you want to meet on the Tuesday after Memorial Day, or do you want us to move to the Wednesday of after Memorial Day?
Do we vote on this now?
Yeah, do you know what you're doing on May 28th
We
or
want a
29th?
decision now.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because we have to notify the media of what our schedule is, so the decision should be made now. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't change it the month before for some other reason, but we need to set the annual schedule now.
I make a motion for the Wednesday.
I second.
You have a motion and a second to have Wednesday, May 29th as the date of our May meeting. We have a roll call vote.
Nancy Reagan,
Yes.
Roger Brock.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes,
4 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed.
I have a question now. Is there any conflict with this meeting room? To your knowledge?
There is not, but that's part of the reason why we need to get the schedule
So you get a first?
finalized, yes.
Okay. All right. Any other staff comments?
Well, actually, you made a motion to accept the May 29th Wednesday meeting. I did not hear a motion to accept the schedule as amended.
I'll make
Did
that
not
motion
know we
to
ever did
accept
that.
the schedule as amended.
Second,
I'll second that.
roll call vote?
Nancy Reagan,
Yes.
Roger Brown.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Kathleen Hill.
Yes.
4 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
All right, anything else from the staff?
Happy holidays.
Thank you, same to
And
you.
the other thing is, I assumed everybody who was going to attend the employees event on Friday has signed up.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, any public comment?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays,
Thank
good
you.
luck. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Well, roll call vote? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.